It's the last morning of our trip up here in Scotland, and we've stayed the last couple of nights up here in Durness, which is right up in the northwest corner of the UK. But I've come down here to Faraid Head, which is at the end of Balnakeil Bay. It's kind of the next little bit of headland over from Cape Rough. And here in Durness, this head kind of pokes up north out of the sea, and I find that this side of it, I'm on the eastern side of Faraid Head, looking east. I find that for morning, this side of it just works a little bit better because this is where the sun rises. The weather today is not as good as it was yesterday. Actually, we missed the most fantastic sunset last night. I was kind of chomping at the bit a little bit because I probably should have got out with my camera, but yeah, we were busy with cooking supper and things at the time, and it's yeah, we just sort of gave ourselves a little bit of a break, but it was amazing just to watch. But this morning I came down here in the hope that maybe there might be a little bit of interesting sunrise. It's a bit of colour in the sky, but it's not overly fantastic. But down on the east side of Faraid Head, we've got these wonderful rocks, and there's a big sea stack out to sea there. It's called Clomore. And this is actually one of the first places that I ever came to photograph when I first took up landscape photography. So it's kind of, I guess, got a little bit of a special place in my heart when it comes to my landscape photography journey. It's quite a rough sea. The tide's coming in at the moment, so I've already been down on the shore to take a couple of images. I had to be quite quick because as the sea's coming in, first of all, I don't want to get the camera wet, and secondly, I just had to be quite quick to get it before the rocks which I wanted to photograph became sort of too deep in the water. But actually, just with the polarizer on the lens, we were looking at an exposure of about 4 seconds or so. So that was long enough. I didn't need any other filters on there, and it was. I think some of those images might have come out okay. But yeah, it really is a beautiful place up here. I absolutely love it. I've got this place really in my blood because it's where I grew up. So it's, yeah, very special to me. But also because it's our last morning up here on our trip to Scotland, it's also really our last chance to use the Lumix S1R, because as soon as we get back down to Oxfordshire, I'm going to have to send that back to Lumix. So I've just got that camera with me today. We've been really enjoying using it actually for these 2 weeks. Helen and I have kind of been sharing it between the two of us and switching between this and the 5D Mark III. And really, I guess, the more we've got used to it, the more we've come to like it, really. I think, ultimately, we're Canon shooters, and we always feel at home using a Canon, so I'm not convinced that it's going to be the camera for us as our next sort of upgrade from the 5D Mark III. But it is a superb camera, and it's only really just, the only reason we wouldn't upgrade to it is just because, well, we're just used to using Canons. So yeah, it's a fantastic camera, and we've really enjoyed using it. I'm looking forward to getting home and seeing what the raw files look like when I get them on the computer, because yeah, I've never used such a high resolution camera before. But yeah, I'm going to have a wander around. There's a couple of shots. There's a really nice sandy, well, I'm stood on a really nice sandy bay here. And so it might be that I could just get some nice shots just with the sand and some bits of seaweed on it as well. Maybe if we get a bit more colour in the sky, that might work quite nicely, but it's not looking overly hopeful. But either way, I think there's some fantastic shots to be had here. So I'm going to take a little bit of a walk around and see what I can get. So I've just got this spot here where there's this really nice kind of U-shaped curve in the sand that's going round the seaweed. I put the 6-stop filter on now because it's just getting a little bit brighter, and I want to try and keep that long exposure. But yeah, I think just that curve works really well in the image. It's a nice kind of, just a really pleasing kind of shape. So I'm kind of using that to fill the foreground of the image. And yeah, I think it's working quite nicely. The sun just peeked out for a couple of seconds actually, so just as I was doing that, there's just a little bit of light catching on this sand. And coupled with a polarizer, yeah, I think it works really well. Wow, so we're just getting some really nice light rays coming down over there over Faraid Head. That's actually an image I've taken before as a telephoto shot in one of our previous visits to this location. But down here on the beach we've got these little bits of sand, little bits of seaweed with the water running through the sand and just reflecting that light, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, I'm just firing off a few shots. I think this is my favourite composition so far this morning. Absolutely stunning. I've had an absolutely fantastic morning down here on Faraid Head. First I thought the conditions weren't going to be so great. It didn't look like we were going to have an absolutely fantastic sunrise, but just as the sun came a little bit higher, we got those sun rays coming down through the clouds. Sun rays are really my cup of tea when it comes to landscape photography. I do love them. I love a good sun ray. But yeah, it's been great, and not just today but this whole trip over the last couple of weeks has been absolutely amazing. I hope you've enjoyed coming along with us. We've made quite a few videos from this trip, and we've absolutely had a blast. It's amazing. I mean, Scotland is really one of my favourite places. No, hang on. I'd say Scotland is my favourite place in the world. I just love it. I absolutely adore it. And yeah, it's been a real special trip. We've had some amazing moments, and yeah, I'm looking forward to getting home, getting the images on the computer, and maybe seeing how the videos come together. But I just hope that we've managed to capture just how great this has been. We've been so lucky with the weather as well. For September, you never really know what you're going to get in September in Scotland, and yeah, we've hit it lucky. So anyway, I'm going to call it a day here, and I'm going to call it a day for our series of videos from Scotland. Hope you've enjoyed the journey, and next time we'll be in Oxfordshire. I hope you'll join us down there.